It's experimental art. It's NFTs. It's a game. It's a sci-fi novel. It's 200% on-chain. Welcome to Dom Hof's Corruptions.
On November 13th, a strange new contract appeared on the Ether blockchain. The contract enabled users to mint 4,196 artworks called corruptions. The pieces resembled portals, and the entire artwork was encoded on-chain. Unsurprisingly, they minted out extremely quickly. Researchers from all over the world came together on an internet server to investigate the nature of these NFTs. One thing stood out quickly: each piece had a value called insight. Experts determined that insight would grow with block time, and growth would accelerate if the pieces were left unmoved. On the other hand, moving or selling a piece would reset the accelerator growth. Were these supposed to be not traded? Further, each piece contained a word as part of the artwork, and sometimes even a secret phrase. What did this mean? Before answers could be found, a new contract appeared on the blockchain, seemingly only created to convey a message from Dom Hofmann, the creator of corruptions. The on-chain message read,
"This is the visible hand."
Was this some sort of game? Or a comment on the concept of hodling? The community quickly figured out how to respond to the mysterious messages on-chain. A portal opened, and a dialogue developed. For the first time in computer history, creator and community communicated directly through the Ethereum blockchain. Just like the project's art, these messages will live immutably on the blockchain as long as our species continues to route energy to it. You could say, they are part of the performance. This concludes the happenings of day one, but barely touches on the discoveries and wonders that have happened since. You are still early. Come join us.
It's experimental art. It's NFTs. It's a game. It's a sci-fi novel. It's 200% on-chain. Welcome to Dom Hof's Corruptions.
Day 2. The crew continues to investigate the corruptions and the messages that have been sent across the ether. The researchers still believe that the project is essentially an art piece. So they decide to send a piece of art themselves. Knowing that Dom Hofmann's recent work involved the subject of roses, they send a wilted rose emoji, encoded on-chain. How would Dom, or whoever was really responsible for these messages, react?
While everyone was expecting a new message, a contract appeared instead on the Ethereum blockchain. I'll let our Solidity experts explain how to interact with it.
Sure. The contract was called Corruptions Wilted Rose Deviation Writer. It allowed anyone with a Corruptions NFT to interact. All you had to do was to enter your token ID and a confirmation string reading. I have read the disclaimer and acknowledge. You're probably wondering what that disclaimer was about. Basically, putting your token through that code would change it in some way. They called it deviating, and it would stop gaining insight. Oh, and that deviation, it would, be permanent.
Did you say permanent?
Yes, permanent. Oh, and it was limited to 64 deviations of that kind only. 64, no more.
Only 64? Sounds pretty rare. And although the corruptions community almost never engaged in price talk, they were not economically illiterate. The wilted roses minted out within seconds, deviating 64 corruptions into a new form, forever.
Pretty as they were, these wilted roses did at the same time represent a kind of game over state. That said, the real game had only just begun. This is episode 2 of many. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into Dom Hofmann's corruptions. It's experimental art. It's NFTs. It's a game. It's a sci-fi novel. It's 200% on-chain. Welcome to Dom Hof's Corruptions.
You see, the thing about blockchains is that they're immutable. Append only. Whatever you put on them becomes instant history. And thus, decisions regain gravitas. You want to deviate a corruption? Sure. But are you ready to make history here, forever? While the community was hard at work trying to decipher the meaning of the wilted rose deviation, a new contract popped up, enabling not one, but 8 new deviations, one more mysterious than the other.
I don't know how anyone could possibly keep up with this stuff on any rational basis. I can't.
Now, corruption holders could permanently change their NFTs into one of 8 new deviations, each with its own unique art, resembling cards in a game or a narrative divination system. Laceration, Fenestella, Stronghold, Apotheosis, Vivication, Sacrosanct, Automation, and Continuity. What will future blockchain archaeologists make of these? On one hand, the deviations were game-over states, as deviated corruptions would no longer participate in the game and lose their capacity to gain insight. On the other, they represent a meaningful breakthrough in Ethereum programming. The deviations reveal a powerful optionality within blockchain technology. They show that the chain is both permanent, but also highly flexible. The course of history. It can be altered by human decision-making, but it can never be forgotten. This was part 3 of many. Come join us. We are early.
Ethereum block time 12.637.0.0.1. All available deviations have minted out, freezing the affected corruptions in a permanent state of art.
Did you say permanent?
Yes, permanent.
Holy cow.
This includes a full set of deviations held by the community wallet. The way the community financed the acquisition of the deviations is another world first in this project. Instead of just sending ETH, the community created its own art.
A great idea brought in at breakfast was hatched into a plan by lunch and was fully executed by dinner. Period.
Here's a flow chart. Corruption holders could use Dom's contract to deviate a limited edition, rare art NFT. Now, the community's contract enabled deviation holders to reflect their deviation back into a new NFT, changing it back into corruption form-ish, like an inverse mirror image of your original corruption, or a memory of sorts. The Ethereum raise through the reflections mint allowed the crew to acquire a full set of corruptions for the community wallet. Mission accomplished. And as it goes, community celebrations lead to community rituals, some of which may be idiosyncratic.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yet, beneath crazy amounts of obscure fun, the corruptions community continues to be driven by a strong mission.
We want to bring it to everyone who possibly ever has a use for it, and over time we think that's everyone. And we want to make it really easy and really straightforward and really compelling to experience it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.